Hello, Kondwa. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'd just like to welcome all of our viewers to the Commonwealth Lawyers Association Women Lawyers interview. So this is an initiative from the Africa Hub, where we would like to showcase women lawyers across Africa. This is going to be a series, and we'll be doing several interviews with participants from all of the countries that are a member of CLA in Africa. So our first interviewee today is Kondwa Sakala-Chibiya. Did I pronounce that right?
Chibiya. Chibiya, yes.
All right. So Kondwa, can we start with a brief introduction of your, perhaps your academic and professional background?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. I think in terms of my academic background, I was, born and bred in Zambia in a small town called Ndola, and I did most of my education, primary education, I did in Ndola. From there, I went to complete my O-levels in Botswana, and then had a bit of a short stint in Lusaka at the university here, but then I moved to the University of Reading, where I actually obtained my law degree, my LLB. After completing my LLB, I came back to Zambia, did my bar exams, and qualified as an advocate of the High Court. And shortly after that, I joined what was then the Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines, which was a mining conglomerate, where I started off my career as a young lawyer. I had a stint there for some time, shortly after, but not so much shortly after, but the mining conglomerate I worked for, ZCCM, was then privatized. And that's how I found myself joining private practice, where I've been all this time. So my professional background, my career spans over 25 years. I've been practicing law for the last 25 years. Whilst in private practice, I got quite involved with the Law Society, the Law Association of Zambia, and got involved in the different committees. I think, as you well know, most law societies operate through various committees. And I sat on the Legal Aid Committee. I was very involved with the Women's Rights Committee. I actually chaired the Women's Rights Committee at some point. But most importantly, I got involved with the actual governance structure. So I became a member of the council of our law association. I went on to be Honorary Secretary of the Law Association of Zambia. As I said, I was quite involved in the various committees. One of the committees that I was involved in was one that dealt with the international and regional relationships that the Law Society had. And through that, I sat as an executive member of the SADC Lawyers Association, which is a regional body of lawyers. And that saw me elected into the president's position. I was elected as president of the SADC Lawyers Association. I did my stint with the SADC Lawyers Association. I am also commissioner of the Small Claims Court of Zambia. I'm an arbitrator, a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. And I also hold the position of the vice chairperson of our Zambian Human Rights Commission. I sit on a few boards as well. Basically, I think that's what I could say about my professional background.
Right, so a lot of experience, and you've also been very involved within the region.
Yes.
Right. And what is your current area of legal expertise?
Okay. So historically speaking, a lot of the work that's done, the legal work that's done in Zambia is general in terms of its practice. It's a general approach to work, to legal work. And so my firm, I am a managing partner of the firm, and my firm and the work that we do is quite general, and it covers quite a spectrum of work. I do conveyancing, there's labor law that we do, commercial law, company law, and family law. But because of my experience and exposure during my time at the SADC Lawyers Association and through the Law Society, I sort of found myself being very exposed to human rights issues, to issues in particular that touch on women and children. And so I find that I'm offering outside the time that I have with the firm, I am very involved in that kind of work.
So in a sense, the area of work chose you as much as you chose it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So are you currently in a leadership or management role within your company or law firm?
Yes, I'm currently the managing partner for the law firm that I run, JB Sakala & Company. I'm running the offices at the moment, yes.
All right, how big a team do you have?
We have two offices. We have one in the capital city where I am based in Lusaka, and we have an office in Ndola. So put together, we're a team of about maybe 15, support staff included. In terms of our lawyers, we're a team of about 6.
So would you say as you are in a management role and you've got quite a significant team, would you say you have a particular management style?
Yes, I've developed a management style that sees me looking more or preferring to work as a team. A team effort is what I feel actually gets the job done. I lead by delegating. I lead by looking at the strengths that my team members have. And I believe in building them in that way. And I really enjoy seeing my team flourish, grow, as professionals and experts in the work that they do. So I'm more of a team player in terms of the work that I do. I think working as a team also brings diversity to the table. So in terms of my management style, I would say that I'm more of a team player.
All right. Do you have a motto for the work that you've done
yes,
so far and that just drives you?
Yes, I actually do. I'm driven by the motto, be the change that you want to see. And I've taken it to my professional side of my life and even in my personal life. And being a lawyer in particular gives me an opportunity really to live by this. I'm in a position that I can influence change. I'm able to influence change, to change things that I'm possibly concerned about. So when it comes to issues of legal reform, I'm able to contribute to those areas. And I'll give an example of even just the gender-based violence reforms that took place. I had an opportunity by being a lawyer to participate in the law reform and create a piece of legislation that saw a reduction in the cases of GBV in Zambia. So from that perspective, I'm very driven by that motto: be the change that you want to see. Yes.
Did you, throughout your career, did you have a mentor or someone in particular who you particularly looked up to or aspired to be like? And do you think it's important to have a mentor?
I've had many mentors, and I think what tends to happen is you have a mentor for different aspects of your life and different stages of your life. So I've had different people that I've looked at and been inspired by. But generally and overall, I think my greatest mentors are my parents, my father and my late mother. I think the way they set, I think, a tone for me in terms of how hard they worked and how dedicated they were to the things that they chose to do. Even their commitment to give back to society has stuck with me for throughout my career path. And also just academically, they achieved a lot academically. So I would say that my parents, my father and my late mother, have been my inspiration to achieve what I've achieved so far.
Thank you for sharing that with us. What would you say is your biggest achievement so far? We see you're busy.
That's a tough one. So I was being a typical lawyer and not answering what I guess I should be answering. And I thought of so many things that I've, in my view, have been great achievements. When I look at the region, I think my being elected as a SADC Lawyers Association president, I think was a great achievement for me. I was the first Zambian to hold that position, but also it gave me an opportunity to engage with the legal profession in the 12 countries that SADC Lawyers Association is involved with. It gave me an opportunity to engage with the judiciary in the SADC region. It gave me a chance to engage with very high level stakeholders as well. So that to me was a great opportunity and a great achievement. At a national level, I have had the privilege to be appointed as a vice chairperson of the Human Rights Commission. And that to me has also been, quite a great achievement as far as I'm concerned. But also when I look back at my 25 years, one of the things that stood out for me or scenarios that stood out for me, as I said before, I was very involved at the Law Society with the Women's Rights Committee. The Women's Rights Committee established through the Law Society the legal aid clinic for women and children in Zambia able to access free legal services. So I recall, the clinic was at the verge of closure because our cooperating partners were relocating and moving out of Zambia. And at that time, I was the chairperson of the Women's Rights Committee. So I had a great responsibility in making sure that the clinic did not close its doors to the women and children that the clinic served. So putting a team together, putting our resources together, working with the Law Society, and ensuring that funds were mobilized and the clinic did not close its doors, I think has stayed with me over the years. And to date, I'm really, happy to see that the clinic is still able to provide free legal services for for the women and children of Zambia.
Thank you. So obviously we've talked a lot about your career, how you've developed and your achievements as a lawyer, but did you ever face any challenges as a woman in your career?
Yes.
Particularly in Zambia or generally from your experience?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think I would speak to the challenge. I did face a challenge, and I would speak to the challenge that was faced in terms of a business perspective, trying to establish a firm space in the industry, in the legal profession. I think as a woman, you're always having to prove that you're competent and probably more competent than the man sitting next to you. And so that has been or was one of the greatest challenges that I faced. So you'd always have to deal with the fact that, or the issues of equality. Why would a job maybe, or anchoring a job, why would a job or a case or a file and business be offered to a man over myself? And so having to navigate around that, I think has been one of those challenges that I'm glad to say I've found a way around it, but it is the reality that comes to play as we work, as women work in the legal profession. Yeah.
And would you like to share with us how you found your way around it? What you found has proven to be efficient to overcome this challenge?
Yeah, I think from my experience, having a good support team around you is key to you overcoming those challenges. So I surrounded myself with a good set of friends and advisors who I would be able to go to seek advice, to sit down and strategize. Okay, I've been faced with this. How do I get around it? How do I, secure that job? I need to, to ensure that I do this and I get paid for this job. But what do I do? And so having a good support team, I think, is key and has worked for me. having a goal, as it were, a go-to team has been, I think, one of the things that I found very helpful in overcoming the challenges, but also sticking to your guns. I think not compromising on your values. So for me, integrity and hard work is key to me, and I have overcome those challenges by ensuring that I don't depart from those values that I hold quite dearly. Yeah.
I guess that's your piece of advice and recommendation to fellow women lawyers.
Yes, I would add to that. Yes, most importantly, surround yourself with a good support system. But I would go further and say to my, fellow women lawyers that, you need to identify your strengths. You need to spend time mastering your area of expertise, but also being strategic in the work that you're doing and your approach to, whether it's to secure your business. I think you have to be strategic. And don't play small. I think as women, we need to know our worth. And once you begin to know your worth, one should then begin not to play small and speak to your worth. I would also say, accepting that the journeys are different. Each of us have a unique journey. And so identifying what that journey is, I think sits in with just identifying what your strength is. I would also say, don't get distracted and discouraged by the naysayers. You come across quite a lot of people who will say, no, you can't do this and you can't do that. And a lot of the times as women and as women lawyers, we tend to believe that. So I always say, don't get distracted and don't just get discouraged by your naysayers. And I think I would then say, as women, we need to come together. We need to create a team, a support system for ourselves. We need to create a network that we can go to, a safe space that we can be in and at least be able to consult with one another if we're faced with challenges. And then I would say, don't believe that women can't support each other. I don't believe that. And I would say as women in general, but as women in lawyers, let's not get drawn into that narrative. I think that's the advice that I would give my fellow women lawyers.
Thank you for that. That was very inspiring and very true, very authentic of you. Do you have any advice on how to succeed in your particular area of expertise in the human rights area and any other area which you specialize in?
Okay. So I would say invest time in your area of expertise by reading, by attending, different training sessions, whether it's seminars. Now we have webinars. So I think it's a very important thing to do as a professional. You need to invest time. You need to make time to grow. Looking out for those courses. There are a lot of courses that are offered now, not only now, more so online. So I think the pandemic has helped us be able to do that without having to leave, our jurisdiction, without having to leave the country. You can still invest in building yourself. Continued legal, education for me has really helped me to propel, and I would advise many lawyers to do that, to look out for those short courses, to look out for things that can improve your skills. Whether you're a litigator, I started off, I'm still a litigator, and so I find great, strength in making sure that I look out as to what's there. I'm an arbitrator as well, and so I look out for short courses that I can do to just refresh my my memory, maybe not memory, but refresh my skills and ensure that that I'm up to beat with what is current. The digital world has changed, and I think it's making it very easy, much easier for us to access that capacity building that we so need. TED Talks as well, podcasts. I think it's just being out there and building on your skills that I would say is the best advice that I could give. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kondwa. It's been, this was our first interview. I personally found that it was very inspiring, and we thank you so much for sharing everything you've shared with us. your words of advice, your experience, and well, I'm sure we'll hear more from you very soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for reaching out and asking me to give my thoughts and to share my experiences in the path that I've taken as a lawyer. I'm most grateful for that.
Thank you.